TDT 2016. This is interviews, music reviews, and more. This is The Hotter Show.
What is up, everybody? We are on audio here today on episode 300 of The Hotter Show. I hope you guys doing absolutely fantastic. Thank you so very much for tuning in and clicking that play button on today's episode of the podcast, the biggest episode of the podcast ever. What can I say? Thank you guys so very much for all the support over the last 300 episodes and plus 5 years. We have a kick-ass episode for you here today. I do every single week right here on The Hotter Show. I am sitting down for my first in-person interview in basically, let's call it almost 2 years at this point, with my friends Roy and Nicole from Peterburgers. And it is an awesome chat. You guys are going to love it. They are such great storytellers. They have such a unique story. It's not just like, oh yes, we started a burger restaurant, blah, 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 blah. No. There is a lot to unpack with this story and the start of their business, Peterburgers. We talk about all the nitty-gritty detail stuff. There is a lot of, for lack of a better term, blood, sweat, and tears that really went into creating Peterburgers and making it the success that it is today. It is one of the most popular restaurants in Peterborough, and it is my personal favorite place to grab a bite and the best burgers in the entire freaking world. So we are going to have so much fun here today. I am so excited and honored that they were on for episode 300. I know that you guys are going to enjoy this conversation. And of course, before I jump in, I need to thank everybody for all of their support with this podcast, man. It has been such a fun journey. Huge shouts to my friend, Mr. Jason Reed from J Bridges Alerts, for all of his support over the last basically 300 episodes. He's pretty much been with me from day one. All of my friends who's been with me from day one. I got to give a huge shout to Mr. Brandon Bowden from Bowden Voiceover and Bowden Productions for all of his support, helping out in the early days with the production. So, buddy, thank you so very much. Huge shout out to my wonderful fiance, Miss Samantha Light, for all of her support with this podcast. There are so many people I could sit here and thank, but those are a couple people I definitely got to give a shout out to. With that, we are going to just jump in headfirst into my conversation with Roy and Nicole from Peterburgers. This is episode 300 of The Hotter Show. Let's get into it. All right, so literally one of my favorite places to eat in the entire world, not just in Canada, not just in Ontario, but in the entire world, just so happens to be in Peterborough, Ontario, of course, where I'm from. And I am super excited to welcome onto the show the two people who are the owners of that business. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome onto the show Nicole and Roy from Peterburgers. What's up, guys?
Hey.
What's going on, buddy?
It is really fun that we're doing this. I'm really excited. We've already been, just to break it, we've already been talking for a little while here and having fun. So
Yeah. It's all right. Can always talk more.
Yeah, you can. Say the least.
Welcome to our home.
This is awesome. You guys were gracious enough to invite me over. And I was telling you guys before, this is cool for a number of reasons. Number one, this is the first in-person interview I've done since before COVID. So it's kind of like, so if I get emotional or anything, don't freak out.
I have a box of Kleenex somewhere.
We have tissue. We're good. We have tissue.
Good. All right.
Yeah, it's on your side of the bed upstairs.
Oh.
Okay.
We won't talk about that.
We're going to...
I've been married for 4 years.
We're going to just move on from
that. We're sharing this to the business wall, right?
That's where this is going, I think. I know.
It's all good. It's all good.
But it's fun because on top of that, obviously doing this with you guys, and I mean, we've been talking about doing this podcast for a while. There's so much to talk about. As you guys know, I love Peterburgers.
It's awesome.
It's all I would eat every day if it was my call.
And we do have to say, because you can't see us, that TJ did wear his Peterburgers t-shirt to come here today.
Yes.
My wife has her Peterburgers t-shirt, and I have an In-N-Out Burger t-shirt on. Oops.
Oopsie.
In-N-Out inspired.
Hey, man. California.
Yeah.
California. That's it. Well, it's cool because obviously we got a lot of ground to cover, a lot of stuff to talk about. But first and foremost, obviously, probably the most exciting thing right now to talk about is this was, if I'm not mistaken, the first weekend. You guys aren't hearing this the same week. Obviously, this is a couple weeks out. But this was the first weekend that you guys were doing the Memorial Center, where you guys were the only food available at Memorial Center.
Correct.
The food trucks
with Till Death BBQ.
Till Death, of course.
So we're out of Till Death's food truck. So it's
Beast
Peterburgers.
inside.
Correct.
Beast inside.
Yeah.
I've eaten a lot of those this weekend.
Yeah.
They're so good.
They are good.
So good. Yeah, we lucked out with that. I mean, we've had a really great relationship with Till Death BBQ. We were actually luckily to be in a place where we could offer some openings for them to help with with their great product and to help them because they lost so much money with the whole COVID and everything, not being able to cater. And it just worked perfect. And we had 2 days a week we were closed, and we're like, hey, man, use the restaurant. Come use our restaurant. Sell your food. Get it out to your people, And when the Memorial Center thing came up and they have a food truck and they're like, hey, guys, come use our food truck. Get your food out to the people. It's just it's a very selfless friendship, a selfless partnership. And actually, even right before the first weekend, the four of us decided to get an Airbnb, and we went out to the country and we relaxed for a couple days. Just hung out and just okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's have a night, So it's been a great thing, and it was I'm glad the first weekend is done.
Yes.
It was extremely stressful leading up to this, not having a clue what was going to happen.
No expectations.
What we needed to do. Nothing.
We had no
idea.
Now
we can kind of breathe. It was a good weekend, though.
It was a good weekend. Yeah, Pink Floyd was awesome.
The Pink Floyd
cover
classic albums, Dark Side of the Moon, my lord, they were incredible.
Looked awesome. It looked really cool.
Huge Pink Floyd fans.
Yeah.
Huge Pink Floyd fans. And it was incredible.
It was.
Yeah. And Jim Cuddy was also great. It was really cool to hear some old Blue Rodeo songs, and to hear him do Try was awesome. Super hum guy, lives in Port Hope, so that was pretty cool.
We had fun today with Splash and Boots.
Yeah, Splash and Boots.
Splash and
Boots.
I was really hoping to get some autographs.
Yeah, seeing all the kids was cute. We did a lot of snow cones.
You're a big fan of Splash and Boots, I'm assuming?
Well, it's no Wiggles.
Well, he told me it was Wiggles for the last few days. And then, I know. And then I told my daughter, and she was besides herself. She thought the Wiggles were going to be here. And, so he got in trouble for that when it turned out being Splash and Boots.
Who's the Splash and Boots people? What's going on here?
I don't know what either are. I'm not going to lie. But you know what?
Come on, you know the Wiggles.
But I'll tell you something. It was super cool. So this is kind of one of the coolest things that I've experienced myself, and that I know we all experienced that were there, but I'm only going to speak for myself, is during the Pink Floyd concert, there was a couple that got out of their vehicle. It was pouring rain. And I believe they were playing Us and Them. And this couple got out in the pouring rain and they danced, slow danced together in the parking lot, in the pouring rain. Yeah. And it was one of the first real true acts of normal human interaction. And I realized at that moment, it's the first time I've seen this in how long. And then today again, I'm watching, it started to rain at like 4:30. And what I noticed, all the kids were outside and they were dancing and playing in the rain. I saw one father throwing his baby up in the air and catching them. And I'm like, my God, I've missed this. What happened? And so this weekend, as stressful as it was leading up to it for me, because I'm the worried one, I'm the one, what's going to go wrong? And my wife's like, trust the plan. We've got this. But, and then I got to see these things today, and it really, I'm more relaxed this weekend than I have been in, I can't even tell you how long. It kind of walked away because we got to see normalcy. It was really
to
cool.
a certain point.
So it was great to see the kids. I joke because I don't know what Wiggles are. I don't know what Splash and Boots. I don't know what that is. I don't. I'm sorry, and I apologize. No disrespect.
Shout out to Splash and Boots.
Our kids are all grown up, right? So, of course. But it was so cool.
Even though
to
my
see
19-year-old wanted to come down and see the Wiggles. Okay, that's who I was referring to.
It's true. But she's, I can't talk. I have Timon tattooed on my arm, so. But it was cool to see kids having fun and parents having fun, and it was
not being
really
so
awesome.
worried about.
99% of them were not worried.
Yeah, which is it's a beautiful thing to see. Really, like any kind of little bit of normalcy we can start to see. Right, like I'm even starting to see it a little bit where it's like, okay, everyone's starting to just kind of relax a little bit, and it's cool to see. And I mean this. Obviously, like you guys know, obviously how big of a deal this is for you guys, being able to number one, yes, it's great for you guys as a business because it's going to help build you guys up even more, and people are going to become more and more familiar with Peterburgers until death. But then at the same time, you're kind of on the front line of this in a way. Like, you're going to be seeing, as the summer goes on, you're going to be seeing more and more things like that, and I'm very excited for you guys. I was super
never really
hyped
thought
when I
about
heard
it like that,
yeah.
but definitely, yeah.
A lot of things seem to come into play. And like I just said a minute ago about my wife always telling me to trust the plan. One of the hardest things for us is when the main lockdown ends. One of the main lockdowns end, and they start to open things up. Because when they open up those big patios, small businesses suffer immensely. Mm-hmm. Our sales plummet. This last lockdown, we did great. We had a great,
which is awesome. That's
2
great.
months, whatever it was.
Yeah, however long it was.
Patios open. Well, you drive by, and all these other chains of generic food, but with big fancy patios and pretty drinks and everything else, are lined up to get in. And we're sitting there going, where is everybody? Eventually they come back. You know, of course. Eventually you can only eat generic freezer food for so long,
and
right?
You can only get, there's a certain level of, since we're on the topic, there's a certain level of service and personal service that you get at a small business like yourselves. That, I mean, I can speak for myself when I say that what drew me to you guys was, I mean, yes, obviously the food, let's be serious, but it was the fact that, you know, I walk in, it's personalized service. You're not, you know, with all due respect to the amazing waitstaff and everything of all, you know, different restaurants and that, it's like, it's a different vibe when you walk into a smaller business. You're not as rushed. You're not as, you know, you really care. And I mean, you can tell that by you guys just talking to you. Exactly. Yeah. That's it. You're not a number.
Well, it's definitely one of the biggest things that we strive on. And we wanted that when we first opened, being in the industry. As long as I've been in the industry, that's one of the things that I like the most when I go out. I want to be acknowledged. I want to be, you know, looked at and greeted, and I want customer service, even over great food. Really, I can have great food but crappy service, and I'm not going to go back. But yeah, we strive on that. And that was one of the things we really sat down and talked about before we opened. We wanted to know people's names. We wanted it to be, you know, a local business that people, or restaurant that people would come in and feel comfortable, and it be their home spot. It be their where they go. And I think we're succeeding at that. And our daughter's amazing at that as well.
Yeah, she is phenomenal.
She's awesome. So yeah,
she's her mother's daughter.
That's one of our biggest things.
She understands it.
She does, yeah. But she also knows that that's what we expect of her too.
You know, even our new hire, Zach, is the same though. Zach is greeting people when they come in. Zach is, how was everything? Have a great night as he leaves. He knows how we work. Zach has the same mindset. Zach worked for me at Trent University, actually, when I worked there. And, excuse me, and it was the same thing. It was like, okay, you have to understand that these people in front of you are the reason you have a job.
Exactly.
I am not a believer in that the customer is always right, because the customer is not always right. But you treat each other with respect. You make, you know, somebody's coming, they're working so hard for their paycheck. And if they're deciding to spend their money on what you're creating, you better make sure that's right.
Yeah.
You know, and we've welcomed so many great people. We've had so many great friendships, and we've only banned one person from the building.
Yeah. But it's just a respect thing. For me, it's just, no, it plays a role on your day, how somebody treats you. I know that if I go through Tim Hortons and I don't even get greeted, and they're literally just standing there with their hand open.
$5.95.
I'm like,
$5.95.
Yeah.
$5.95.
How much do I owe you? Like, hi, you know, I need that, or I get saucy.
Oh yeah,
I do.
She really does.
I do. It's terrible. Just be nice. Smile at me and acknowledge I'm there. If I'm going to be sitting there for a hot minute, that's okay. But let me know it's just going to be a second.
You'll be okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah. You know, I know you're there. It's okay. Acknowledge my existence here, because yeah, and it affects my day. So we definitely want people to come into our shop, and hopefully if they're having a bad day, leave having a better day. Yeah. Or, you know, we can put a smile on their face, or make them feel comfortable, or give them that breath of fresh air for, you know, whatever, a couple minutes, or if they have their meal there, for sure.
We want to make you happy. You know, you're how hard do you work to get that $20, $23, whatever, to buy a meal, for instance, if you buy something as good as the Peter Pickle. You buy something like that.
I can vouch for that. The official burger choice of the Hotter Show, the Peter Pickle.
Exactly. Now brought to you by the Hotter Show. So you work hard. In that hour, you could be doing, you've got guys that are slinging shingles on roofs. You've got guys that are in dish pits. You've got girls, guys and girls, regardless, doing whatever, working really hard jobs that are making a lot in this town, $15 an hour.
Yeah.
So you have worked really hard to buy one meal. So when you come in and you spend your hard-earned money at our restaurant, it still humbles me when I see people coming in and spending money at something that, we've created. It blows my mind still to this day. I don't understand. I know we have a great product. I know we have great customer service. It just blows my mind. It's so bizarre to me.
That's
it's
definitely
so weird.
An aspect of it. But I just think there needs to be more of that in the world, just in general, not even in business, on the road, walking down the street, just smile at somebody. Just be nice.
Something that's funny that I talk about it all the time on this podcast, especially lately. It doesn't cost anything for you to just be nice to people.
That's right.
Even today, I went through a drive-thru. Hi, how are you today? 90% of people go, oh, good. And
they're taken back. They almost don't know how to respond.
What do you mean? You're asking me? And it's genuine. I'm not just, hey, how you doing? Can I go to this? It's
totally.
like, no, I actually care. Like, I want to
know how you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's definitely where we're at. We are both a little bit different, I think, in the perspective on that. But yeah.
It's, it reminds me actually of a story, funny, if you don't mind. I remember we were in Starbucks drive-thru once and we pulled in.
I thought about this.
You know exactly where I'm going with this.
I was almost going to tell the same story.
And we were in line and this guy came around the sideline, made up his own line, and we moved forward. And the whole time we're in front of him, he's sitting behind us. We're watching the mirror, just flipping us off, swearing at us, giving us the finger, and just going every time we looked at him in the mirror.
He's getting angry.
I'm ready. Sure, I'm fitting to crawl out the window and go, say hello, is all I'm going to say.
Of course.
Because I'm not okay with putting up with that crap, right?
Oh, no,
and he's just going. So what does she do? She gets up to the window. She goes, I want to pay for his stuff. She paid for his stuff. We pull up a little bit. He pulls up. And all of a sudden he looks up and he's like.
Anyway, he waves to us. He was getting still angry as we started to pull away. Could see it. And then you could just see when I was watching him in the rearview mirror, everything changed. And it was like, calm down, dude.
Yeah. Chill out, man.
Yeah.
It's not
a coffee.
Yeah. Like it's just, and the thing is too, is like everyone is entitled to have a bad day, right? Everyone's entitled to lose it once in a while. There's,
totally.
Hey, hi. It's like everyone does it, right? But when you're in a situation like that and you're losing it for really no reason.
Over one spot in a coffee line?
Why are you screaming? What are you doing? Like you're just, and then a lot of the times, once those people realize like, wow, I'm really being silly. Wow, these people paid for my coffee.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all someone like that needs. Like he may have been having the worst day of his life.
Hopefully the next day that he's having a horrible day, he'll think about that. And that actually makes me think about it. That, I'm a little off the wall. I'm a little out there as a human being. And, my wife has taught me a lot of lessons. And one of the things is that I think a lot of is because I react very fast, very fast.
I'm the same.
And when she does something like that, it's like, well, that was kind of dumb. Was that really worth it? So then, I'm in Sobeys lineup and I'm like, I'm going to buy that paramedic's food. I see the paramedic walking up right now. Because at the restaurant, every military, police, fire, ambulance, paramedic, all emergency first responders and military veterans, present, past, they all get discounted at Peterburgers. We respect them. We appreciate their service, what they do for us to be able to do what we do. I see a paramedic in line. I'm like, I can buy the food. And the paramedic's like, you don't have to do that. I'm like, I know. But let me. And you know what? That made me feel good.
Yeah.
That made me feel like I wasn't being the whole, I was doing something positive instead of bringing negative? Why am I bringing negative into the world? You know,
it's hard. There's a lot of people who speak about, you know, like the beard care company I work for, Me and Beard, we're all about bringing the positivity and all that, of course. But one thing that the last time the co-owner Joe Loving and I, the last time he was on, we were talking about. Shouts to Joe. There are some people that do things like that, and they'll be like, "Oh, like I'm gonna help this person. I'm gonna make this person say whatever," and that's a beautiful thing. But there's some people, like for me, it comes from a point when I even again just saying hello to somebody in a polite way and asking them how they're doing, saying hi to someone walking down the street. It's like that does something for me too, right?
Totally.
Where I'm like, then I feel better if I'm having kind of a crappy day.
Absolutely.
I'll make myself be like, "Hey, man, don't be miserable. Don't be in a bad mood." If you start off your day being very polite to someone and very nice and respectful to someone, it can kind of make the wheels turn a little bit. You can go, okay, what am I really upset about, right?
Yep.
What am I letting this bother me?
So hopefully, you know, people do feel that when they come into the restaurant. That's
definitely
our goal. Absolutely.
We kind of got sidetracked a little there.
Yeah,
but that's okay. But it's true because then you might get an understanding of what it is we want to do in the restaurant.
Totally.
And we have some people that come in and they've had a long day. You can see it on their face when they've had a long day. We've had people, I'm not going to say any names, but you know, that have come to celebrate a huge turning point in their life. You know, one couple that, you know, came to Peterburgers after their husband's last chemotherapy, I believe it was.
Yep.
Awesome.
And it was like, you know, we're celebrating, we're here, and we're like, you're here?
Date nights, anniversaries,
birthdays. We just had
totally.
Reese. Well, we just had
and
Reese
it's so
too,
cool because you
know?
figure you're like a burger place. Is it that, you know, kind of environment? And it is. And we try to make it that way for everybody, you know, to come down.
It's like being in your living room. You get to relax and
be
have
comfortable.
fun and be calm.
And the food is good.
And the food is so good.
Well, just to tell the story real quick, like when the first time that I was introduced to Peterburgers, my fiance Sam and I came in, and it was actually on our anniversary in 2020 before, you know, everything.
That's great.
And we came in, we had just spent the night in Toronto. We come home and we're like, oh, like let's get something to eat before we go home. And I'm like, we got to try this Peterburgers place. I've heard all about this. We got it. We got to go try it. And she's not a huge burger fan.
Right.
But she was like, you know what? I'll try it.
For you.
Know, whatever. I'll try it for me. She's the best. And come in, we sit down, order our food and everything. I'm like, oh, these people are all really nice, polite, awesome. Everyone says, hi, cool, awesome. And we're sitting there, and I hear very faintly coming from the kitchen this wonderful music at the time that I believe it was Pantera, I think. And I'm like, oh, like they must be listening to 94 on the Rock or something, or The Wolf or something like that, right? And then like another Pantera song played, and I was like, this is a little bit more of an obscure, I think it was like Cemetery Gates or something. I was like, that's kind of more obscure for the radio. And then right after that, there was it was Alice in Chains, the Unplugged album, Nutshell came on, the first song, and I went, okay, this is, what are the odds of this? And then Brother came on, and I literally looked at Sam because she looked at me, and I'm like, they're playing the whole record. So I think you poked your head around the corner, Roy, and you were just kind of like, oh, how is everything? And I was like, because, you know, we got the food, and I was like, what even is this? This is amazing.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, burger's awesome. And I'm like, but I got to tell you, the music.
I remember that.
Love
Keep it going.
I do remember.
I was like, this is awesome. And,
remember.
And Sam loved the burger, by the way. It's one of the only hamburgers she'll eat in the world.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to remember what Sam gets, and I'm pretty sure she always gets onion rings, though, doesn't she?
Usually there's banquet burger.
Is it banquet?
Yeah. Usually there's the banquet burger. And then the sides change. But we usually do fries.
I thought, is it?
That time it may have
onion ring or something. There was something about the side that she really liked. There was something.
Maybe she got. I can't. It feels like a lifetime ago now.
It was a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
But it's funny because we get that a lot. A lot of people don't just like any hamburger, and we aren't just any hamburger place. And it's with, you know, even pizza. Some people can eat certain pizza or can't eat pizza. It's the way it's made. And ours is totally different. Like we're basically organic. Our beef is never frozen. It's got no fillers. Yeah. Our buns have no preservatives. Our cheese is not processed. Our sauces are homemade. Like, it's not your typical fast food burger by all means.
Well, it's not fast
or
food,
frozen.
period.
It's not. No, it's not.
Any kind of, even comparing it to, chain restaurants and stuff like that, there's a difference.
Yeah.
And the second, as someone who considers himself to be a little bit of a burger connoisseur, the second you bite into that burger, it's just like, whoa, okay, this is this what I've been missing? That's
awesome.
There's this really cool thing when you make food. So you take a hamburger, okay? You use your binding agent, which is usually an egg. You put your spices in. Then you have beef and spice. If you don't throw a crap ton of filler into it and you actually just use the beef, you actually have a real hamburger. It's a really neat concept. But the problem is at most of these places, but you take a restaurant like ours, our prices should be higher than what they are. Mm-hmm. We want to keep them as low as we can to keep it affordable for as many people as we can. Mm-hmm. But we are a little more expensive than,
but I'm
not even going to say the names of these other places, but you're getting like 5% of actual meat in it.
Yeah.
Ours is 100% beef. We hand-picked our beef. So before we opened up the restaurant, we went to Otonabee Meat Packers and we were like, we want to play with this cut. We want to play with this fat content. We want to play with, possibly adding pork into it, which we scrapped that. It was terrible.
Was at least considered,
yeah, but we ate burgers all day, every day for a couple of weeks.
How many people did we invite over for dinner every night?
And then my normal recipe, it was because I had been making it for so long, I never measured anything out. And then it was, by quantity, how much would I use for this much? So we were, playing with all of my ingredients and testing it out. So the beef we picked that, we make that. It's custom made for us, basically, with the the fat content and everything. Yeah, the cut of beef. It's our own kind of mixture.
It's the Peterburger.
It is.
What they did,
which is kind of neat because it's not just getting
a huge shout out to Mike and Chris at Otonabee Meat Packers.
Cool.
You cannot find a better butcher in this area. These guys are amazing, and not only do they have the best tasting meat,
they also have the customer service.
The customer service. They literally, they order from us on a regular. Mike had brought his wife and his grandkids in the other day, and then the next day when we went to pick up our beef, they're like, "Don't you ever show up here without asking what we want first?" And they ordered from us.
Yeah, they
and
love
then
it.
Gave us their personal cell phone numbers where they're like, "Well, with the concerts coming up at the park and stuff, you guys might have a time where it's like, oh crap, what happened? We ran out. You call us, we'll leave the house and we'll come bring you some beef right away."
Yeah, for sure.
That's customer service. That's what we want. For our customers, that's why we use people like Otonabee Meat Packers, Hurtberry Farms.
Yeah.
We only work with Till Death. We only work with companies that have the integrity and the customer service.
That focus on customer service. Yes, we have great product, which obviously is important, but it's that personalized
above and beyond. Yes. And if they're going above and beyond like that to our face, they're doing that in the back as well. And the quality of food is coming out where it's not just being thrown 100%. Around back there. They've got some integrity and about what they're doing.
It's very hard to fake that. It's very hard to, oh yes, we'll do this for you. And it's like, I'm never going to answer my phone.
We've had somebody fake that. When we first opened, we had a company we worked with, and it was so unfortunate because it was a cool thing. And we were excited to work with them. And it only took, I think, 2 weeks before it was like, well, it's not like we're just going to get up and do something just for Peterburgers. We just increased your sales by about 100 times.
Yeah. But we're paying for the product. This was a partnership.
It was a partnership, but literally you went from selling a few jars here and there to a restaurant using your product all the time, every day.
You gotta...
And they didn't want to put forth the effort and then got mad at us when we asked. So it's like, we're out. Peace.
Okay. Hey, all good. Go about your way. Good luck.
Sure.
Wish you nothing but the best, but you don't have the integrity that we need for our customers. Mm-hmm. So,
which will swing us around to Hurtberry Farms.
Oh, hot sauces. I know you're not a hot sauce guy, but
oh my gosh. God. If you like hot sauces, definitely check out Hurtberry Farms. They're out of Port Perry. Another thing with Peterburgers, we're 100% local. Mm-hmm. So we use all the hot sauces from Herberry Farms, and they grow it, and they're 100% local conscious as well. And just incredible.
Grow their own peppers.
Yeah.
They make all this stuff themselves. Steve and Drew, they still making that stuff themselves.
The passion, the stories, the ingredients is just incredible.
The world travels to find the right things. Literally going to the Middle East,
and the customer service is there too. Yeah, definitely
incredible.
So we love them. We love Herberry Farms.
Yeah.
And it's cool when you have a partnership like that with businesses. Like it all comes together, right? If they weren't the way they are, would it work for you guys? And it's having that partnership where you know that everyone that you're in business with, number one, yes, they're good people with good integrity and everything, but then also they have a good product. They have the customer service. It's super important.
It's so important.
We've been with them for a year and a half since
from day one. Yeah,
since
before we opened the doors, I went to them and I was like, I'm opening up this restaurant. Can we use your hot sauces? Like, what do you think? We discussed it and they were like on board. I had actually worked with Drew and Steve at Great Blue Heron Casino. I was a manager, food and beverage manager out there for a couple of years, and they were both chefs in the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
And then they parted ways and they started making Herberry Farms, and I opened up the restaurant, and then we connected again, and it just worked. So,
and we created, what did we do? One of the first things we did, we created a burger in respect for them, the Herberry Burger.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. That's what we do. We partnered with Peterborough Strong for a while. We had the Peterborough Strong Burger.
We had to take that off because of the pandemic. We couldn't afford it. Yeah,
donating $1 to every sale sold. We'll get there again. That goes towards helping with the homeless and the opiate addiction and everything else. And people that we work with, this is what we do. We have the Till Death Burger now. We have the Till Death Poutine. We have the Peter Pickle, brought to you by the Hotter Show.
Which is, I have to say, I have to interrupt you for a second because yes, the Peter Pickle is key. But listen, folks, if you want to have a fantastic meal, this is TJ Hotter from the Hotter Show, and I'm telling you, if you want to have a fantastic meal, go to Peterburgers. Okay, get yourself the Peter Pickle double. You got to double it. You got to double it now, right? Yep. And get yourself a Till Death Poutine on the side. It will take you to another planet. Yeah, well, I'm just telling you right now. Good.
Just make sure you don't have to go to work afterwards. Yeah, because you're going to need a nap. You're going to need a nap.
Yeah. See, every time
12 ounces of beef. Our patties are 6 ounces, so even bigger than most places.
So maybe what we'll do now is whenever somebody wants a second patty, if they want a second patty, they have to say, "I'd like it hottered."
There you go. I can see that slogan.
That slogan. Can you hotter that?
Can you hotter that? The light bulb goes off. Ding.
Let's
I can
hotter
see
it up.
it like in a comic book. Like the.
They have to press a button. Little red light goes off. Hotter it.
And then I show up out of nowhere and I get
these like little hotter heads come bouncing around.
Bobblehead.
Oh, I love it.
Throw it on the
a hotter bobblehead.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I love it. So every time they want to hotter it, they flick the bobblehead and it goes giggity giggity giggity. That'd be great. I love it.
Yes. This idea is
how things happen.
You know what? There's so many new things that are coming and ideas that I have in store.
Every morning.
It
6:30 in the morning. She comes busting out of the room. I have an idea. And I'm like, oh God, I'm not even awake.
I got to get to the think tank. All right,
and literally, it's right on it. It's right on it.
Every day. It's as soon as I open up my eyes to the moment I close my eyes.
It's crazy.
But with the food truck and whatnot, we've been set back a little bit, but there are a couple pretty cool things that I have in store to be offering and bringing to the table.
There's a lot of new stuff, and it's really funny. It's like when this first all started coming together, I had some burger recipes from a place I had worked before that I kind of put together. And I was like, look at me, I've been cooking for a while. It's like, I got these ideas. And then my wife, who's got all this management experience and is one of the best bartenders in this town, and so on and so forth. And she's coming up with these ideas. It's like, where the hell did you come up with that? That's weird. And then you eat it and it's like, oh my God, that's beautiful. Jerk. The Caribbean jerk burger is ridiculous. So have you tried it yet? I know you don't like spicy. It's
spicy, yeah.
It's not brutal. So I can't deal with really hot heat. It's just enough to put a little bead of sweat on the top of my head.
Okay.
So it's not too bad, but I'm telling you, the flavor of this thing, insane.
Man. And that's one thing that does set you guys apart big time. Like when I was on Father's Day, when I was seeing my old man, we were talking about Peterburgers, and I'm like, hey, like once we get moved into our new place and everything, I'm like, you guys got to come up. We're going to get Peterburgers. We're going to go for it. And so he was looking at the menu and he goes, huh. I was like, what? I knew what he was going to say. The second he said, huh, he's like, oh, this looks really good. But he's like, peanut butter and jelly burger.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, I know it sounds a little strange, but we finally tried it the other day.
You have tried
it? And it is, yes, finally.
Is that when we weren't there?
Yes. It was the one time I went and you guys weren't there.
It was good though.
Yes. It was fantastic.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So
that one you have to hotter though. Because you need that double patty on that one.
And we almost didn't remember. You did not want to put it on the menu.
I didn't want to. I ate it.
And I was like, let's just make it. Like, trust me. I don't know what it is. So the history behind that was I had heard a story that it was Elvis Presley's favorite burger and his favorite snack. Yeah.
He also loved peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Yes. But it was... And it can only be made with grape jelly. It just isn't the same with any other jelly. Yep. And I'm not even a fan of grape jelly. But I was like, let's just make it. Just hear me out. Let's try it. So we made it that morning, first thing in the morning. And we're eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with bacon on it, or burger. And it was good. So we threw it on.
So messy. Gordon Ramsay said that if your burger isn't sloppy, it's not a good burger. Yeah. And our burgers are a perfect example of that. And the PB&J, you better have some napkins for that.
So
because that is a hot mess.
That's awesome. Well, one thing I wanted to make sure we talked about, obviously, because, I've known you guys for like a year and a half now. I've been a customer in that. And I feel like I know you guys, but at the same time, it's like, I don't really.
There's so much.
There's so much. So
there's so much.
Yeah. I'd really love to hear and learn a little bit more about your guys' background as far as what led to this point where now, you're at Peterburgers and you guys are just doing all this cool stuff. How did, I guess, the whole thing start for you guys with Peterburgers?
Well, it was...
It's like starting
It was a long time coming. Yeah, definitely. I've always been... I've always wanted to be self-employed and be an entrepreneur and work for myself. And I've always had a million different ideas and whatnot. And so we actually had discussed opening up different businesses throughout the years, and Roy was hesitant.
Hesitant? I did not want to do it here.
Yeah.
There was no hesitancy. I was like, no.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. So it happened very quickly, and we were talking about opening up a restaurant. We thought we had a location from a friend of ours whose building was sitting empty. And I woke up and I was like, you know what? Let's just see if he'll rent the building out to us and see if we can open up the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And so we called him and we asked him and he said no. Okay. And he was like, nope, I'd rather it sit empty. And I took that as extra drive to push forward with the business. And literally a few hours later, Roy ran into the store, and I was going through Marketplace or whatever, and this location was for rent. And so we called the landlord, and we were actually walking through the building probably 3 hours later.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It literally happened that quickly.
It's just meant to be.
And
wow.
Yes.
Kind of.
Go ahead.
Let's kind of bring it back a little bit. So yeah,
I'm gonna simplified version.
I'm gonna fill in a few of the spots. Okay. So I've been in Peterborough for a long time, and I need out of Peterborough. I needed out of Peterborough. Okay. No offense, Peterborough. I made life choices that weren't great, and I felt like I needed a new start. And we had talked about moving out of Peterborough to get a new start. And I was like, this is all I want. I feel this constant dark cloud over me here, you know? And I'm
for
like, besides the fact,
5 years, we were like, I was like, let's open a business.
We're going to move to California. We're going to move to Arizona. We're going to do this. We're going to go out, And I'm like, okay, please. No more shoveling. Cool.
No, exactly.
But I was like, no. And besides the fact is like, it's every 7 days, another restaurant opens, and every 5 days, another restaurant closes in this town. Like it's nonstop with bars and restaurants. I'm like, no. She finds this place that she's talking about, and we walked in, and I remember the feeling. I was like, damn it. She's right again. She's right again. And that's all I can think. And I'm like, this is your burgers.
Yeah. You just knew.
I'm like, this is your burgers. This is your burgers.
I was willing to do anything at that point. We didn't have a burger place. We didn't have a bar. We didn't have an
idea about anything.
No. But then when he was like, it's your burgers, I'm like, done. Okay.
Every time I'd have friends from work over, my buddies would come. I used to work for Cintas, and they'd come over or whatever, and for a barbecue, or we had anybody over, regardless. I'm like, you got to make your burgers. These things are
burgers
insane.
was never
burgers are
an
so
idea
good.
in my brain.
Never. And then it all kind of moved forward, and we ended up securing the location. And Nicole, like I said, I said when we were offline here for a minute there, I mean, she's the brains. She's the drive. I know how to cook. I come up with some ideas, and behind every successful man is a far more successful woman. And if it wasn't for her, I'd be nowhere right now, and it's, everything started going. She was always up till 3, 4, 5 in the morning on the computer. I'm sawing logs going, sorry, I got to get my beauty sleep. And she's up here building a business plan. And I'm still, I swear to God, man, like a month into it, I'm still thinking, this ain't going to happen. This ain't going to happen because once, like I said in the beginning, I'm the guy that's like, what's going to go wrong?
Sure. Yeah.
Right? So she's building this and she's building this. And guess what? Everything did go wrong. We got denied on everything. Mm-hmm. I'm like, This is BS, man. This is BS. We have everything exactly what this certain company in town is for that is government funded. Yeah, that's
like a whole other story.
No. Okay, well, that's cool. Great. Good for you. Thanks a lot. You denied us what we needed to start this because of a $200 debt that I owed from 4 years ago.
Wow.
$200. And I'm like, that's amazing. So what do I do? I crack a beer and I start cussing the world about it. I'm the guy in the Starbucks line, right? Because that's what I do. Well, not her. I'm getting back on the phone. Ding, 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 ding. We want to appeal this. Well, it turns out you can appeal it.
It was a couple of emails and a couple of phone calls that I wasn't just going to go away.
Regardless of the fact, we went in, we showed up, and we didn't take no for an answer.
We did
and
a Shark Tank.
Them hell. We did literally Shark Tank. We did Dragon's Den, literally to the T, in front of 12 people.
Yeah.
And them going, well, where did you get those numbers from? Well, sir, actually, I researched these numbers. And if you go here and you go here, pop, 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 and it was nailed them against the wall. Well, we won. We got the location. Next thing you know, I'm turning down a job I was supposed to have at the casino. Going, so I'm not going to take that job because apparently we own a business now. Yeah,
we actually only the funding that we got was less than half of what we were asking for. So when we opened up the restaurant, we literally opened it on pennies.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work.
We should have had 4 to 5 times more financially.
Yeah.
What we opened this business on is what most people probably spend nowadays in a month to keep their house afloat.
Wow.
Yeah.
We opened it on pennies.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
We did everything ourselves.
32 days straight, 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
32 days
cleaning,
straight,
scraping, crying, building, painting, thrift store shopping.
Arguing, drinking.
Yeah. Whatever that was it.
Usually in that order.
Sometimes at 1 o'clock in the morning. She would be in there at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning working. We'd both get in there and be working. And then she'd go home, get changed, have a shower, maybe grab a half-hour nap once in a while, and then go to work at the casino to bartend until 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I'd be in there working until 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Then I might go down to the casino and have a beer and see her. Maybe.
Play a couple slots.
Play a couple games, but regardless of the fact. But you know what? We did what we needed to do. We had some friends that helped us,
and they did help us.
Yeah, we had
They
friends
did
that
help us. It was a friendship that wound up going south, but the help that was provided for us during that time was huge for us.
We couldn't have done what
there were 3 of us.
This person. There was 3 of us that killed ourselves working in that place.
Well, if there were 4 of us.
Yeah, there was a few. Yeah, there was a few. Bryce was there too. Bryce helped us a lot as well.
Absolutely.
Terry was a friend of mine for 20 some odd years, man. Killed it in there, sweating his butt, kicking, going nuts.
Totally.
Unfortunately, when we opened, it was not what we expected, and the demand and repayment was beyond anything that we could have ever dreamed of. And we lost a friendship. We lost this. Sorry to put this on here. I didn't mean to put his name, but same rate, don't care. It is what it is, man. But the point is that a few people came together and did something that I still don't understand how it happened. The same reason. Stop hitting the table, Roy. We have microphones. Sorry, you warned me about that, buddy. Yeah. But then still now, a year and a half later, and it's like it's still revamping, it's still growing, and
we've gone through a lot of things in the last year, not just with COVID, but with personal illnesses, and now we're on fire again.
If you really want to test the strength of your relationship, work and live with a person 24/7.
It's brutal.
It's brutal. Horrible.
Yes.
Literally, like divorce lawyer on speed dial. I don't know how many times, but you work. And you figure it out. It's okay. What do we need to do? What do we need to do? And you just kind of figure it out. And a lot of health issues. My wife has had some pretty serious health issues over the last year. And what do? We made it work, But regardless of the fact, man, everything that's happened in the last year and a half,
there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in Peterburgers above and beyond the food. And
people have no idea. Yeah. No idea what has gone into this.
It's a lot to us.
Yeah, sure. There's days that TJ Hodder comes in. Hey guys, what's up, TJ? What's going on, buddy? And has no idea that one of us was just crying in the back or losing our mind or cussing and swearing, punching a hole in the wall, whatever, losing your mind.
Yeah, for sure.
No clue. But every single time that we go through that and the TJ Hodder walks in and you remember that he's there to spend his money.
Yeah. And that's when you come to he's there to eat our food.
That's when you come when you come to check. Yeah. And you realize again.
Yeah, you realize
you're the Starbucks guy.
Yeah.
Wow, this guy's become like a whole meme for me right now.
The Starbucks guy is going to be
Starbucks. That has nothing to do with a couple rums and a couple beers, but
listen, I'm on my first Bud Light Mango, and that's it.
Mango.
Bud Light Mango. I'm enjoying a nice Belgian Moon, and I have to say too, I forgot to mention this before, but this is going to be the 300th episode of my podcast too. So
exciting!
I'm
so exciting.
300 strong.
300.
Yes.
That's so cool. I know.
Wow.
But I was going to say, just so cheers to you guys. Thank you so much for doing this.
Is it kind of weird? Cheers to you that he's also got the Leonidas beard right now. For 300.
This is the lockdown beard.
Right?
I love it.
This is the worst possible time to try and grow a beard out.
I grew my first beard last year. Okay, I'm 40, almost 46. And this past winter, for the first time ever, I grew a beard. Never grown a beard in my life. And it started to grow.
It kind of grew on me a little bit.
It grew a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I swear to God, the first day where it hit like 10 degrees outside, I'm like, summertime, shave
it all off. Yeah. It's
get rid of it.
Yeah. It's
I have a phobia of hair.
Yeah.
So it was really weird for me to have a beard like this right now. Like I shaved yesterday morning. It's kind of geeking me out right now.
Just that it's there, right?
Yeah, it just freaks me out.
It has not been a fun 14 years for him with the phobia of hair, with three girls a dog, and a cat in the house.
Goodness. Literally, as we speak, if you guys hear, I'm going to just leave that in because it's fun. But if you guys hear any running around or anything,
it's the dog and the cat are going crazy.
Our friends here are having a time.
We let our children out of the basement for an hour a day, and
they're just having a ball. Oh, hello there. Literally. That's fantastic. That's awesome.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we were talking about animal names. Actually, it's funny, and I'm trying to remember all the names of our cats and stuff named after famous people. And our dog is named Letty, after Letty from Fast and Furious.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it just made me think of that.
You had Lane, of course, too.
Lane from Lane Staley. We had a cat named Hunter from Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah. We had Tucker from Tucker Max from I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. Yeah. We've had a few. Yeah, we always try to name our animals something cool.
Rabbit.
And then Gadsden, we had Rabbit with his long feet.
Yes, but he was also Eminem.
That's right. Yeah. He was. Yeah, after Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we have Gadsden after the Gadsden flag, which Doesn't matter.
You know?
It's just a neat little thing.
Well,
part of history.
Yeah. And that's what's fun too. Like, you know, being here and speaking with you guys, you know, I knew it's like, oh yeah, hey, Roy and Nicole from Peterburgers. Like, oh, they're nice people and everything. And like, I come walking in, you know, because you guys graciously allowed me to come in here and we're hanging out. And, you know, I'm hearing, Nicole, I'm hearing you talk about the fact that like, you know, like you bred animals and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, like that's cool. Like I didn't know that, you know, and, you know, Roy showing off some guitars and it's like, this is awesome. You know, you get to know, obviously you get to know people over time, but it's like when it comes to a business that you enjoy as much as I enjoy Peterburgers, Peter Pickle, you know, it's a cool thing to see where it's like, hey, it's not just all about burgers 24 hours a day. Obviously,
there's people behind this.
There's people behind it, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, our life is never dull, to say the least. There's always something interesting going on.
That'd be kind of cool.
It's a boring, dull day.
You know, it's one of those things where it's like, go, go, go. You know, we've got, right now, we're in a position we're having 1 day off in 2 weeks. So in 14 days, we're getting 1 day off. And before COVID, we were doing 90 hours a week, 7 days a week. We were going nonstop. But you get that day off. And I'm like, I am doing nothing but laying my butt on the couch all day. I'm going to watch Ricky Lake or whatever's on. I don't care. Is that still on?
Ricky Lake.
That's just what came on. Listen, I'm 46 years old.
That name in
I didn't
years.
say Jerry Springer. Yeah. I'm old.
Ricky Lake.
I'm old.
Ricky Lake.
So I'm like, I'm going to lay my ass on the couch all day and do nothing. And then by 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm so angry. I'm like, we got to do something.
Yeah.
I'm so bored. I'm so antsy. When you're go all the time.
You don't know how to.
You know?
Slow down.
Yeah, it's hard.
It doesn't stop. It actually really, if we're not at the shop, it's marketing. It's like 2 full-time jobs for me. I'm on my phone marketing and taking pictures and doing videos 12 to 16 hours a day, literally. Yeah. And then at the shop for 11, 12, 13 hours a day. So we never stop, really. And I'm constantly on Roy. I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Do you like this video? Can you spell check this? Just reread this for me.
Read it over for me. Yeah.
Literally. I'm starting to see blur here. Does this make sense?
And I'm the guy that's like, we just finished work or I just woke up. Can we just have a little bit of time?
No.
I refuse to be completely enveloped by work. It can't be the only thing. I have to have my little bit of personal time. You know what I mean? I have to have fun time. I have my Friday night with the boys. You know what I mean? I have to have that. It's just who I am. But it's like, it's literally, we got home from work and it was like, you know, what about this? What about can I please just sit down and have a beer and relax? You know, I need that. But that's when she goes into creative.
So when you're firing on all cylinders, I get it.
All her cylinders go. Exactly. It's wild, man. It's hard. I mean, we are like polar opposites, but somehow it kind of meshes. It's weird.
It does. It's bizarre. It usually takes Roy about 5 years to come around. 5 years is the key number.
Yep.
And that was with business. That's with everything. So I have to put this out on the table.
Please, go for it.
There was a time when Roy didn't care much for Pantera, and he did not like Godsmack,
Mudvayne.
He did not like Mudvayne.
I'm shocked.
Actually,
Slipknot.
Right?
Couldn't get it, man. Couldn't wrap my head around it.
Okay.
Couldn't wrap my head around it.
So the musician man here.
Musician man who made a very good living.
Yes, for sure.
Playing the Top 40 Collective Soul.
Yes.
To playing the Runaway Trains. To playing Hotel California. And that's where I made my money. So every night I made that, right?
But now you're growing.
Opened up.
And opening up with your taste in music. He even has some Grateful Dead on his playlist
Grateful
now.
Dead, yeah.
Okay.
So I grew up listening to all genres of music, excluding country to a certain point. I never really got into the country
Brooks
scene.
fan, though.
Yeah, you are.
My Garth Brooks.
Well, we like some Aaron Lewis country music.
Love some Aaron Lewis.
Big Aaron Lewis fans here.
Big Aaron Lewis fans. We love him, yeah. But yes, 5 years.
Took a while, man.
Yeah, it took him about 5 years. Actually, you didn't even like Korn either.
I couldn't stand Korn, man. I despise Korn.
On the dot. 5
we
years,
went and saw Korn, and I was like, "Are they done yet?" Because this guy's bugging me. This guy's driving me crazy. So you know how many bands I've seen, and I'm like, God, would they just shut up? And then a couple years later, fell in love with them. I've seen Breaking Benjamin, didn't know a song. Saw Korn, I'm like, can you please shut up? And now I'm like, man, I wish I would have saw that.
You would appreciate a little more at the time.
Literally.
Right? Yeah.
Takes me a while, man. Listen, I'm going to throw one piece of advice out there. Men, listen to your wife. Because I don't care how strong and arrogant and tough you are. Woman knows. Mm-hmm. Woman knows. It takes us a while to figure it out. This woman saved my life. People that know me know my past. This woman saved my life. And every day, every week, every year, as much as she drives me crazy, she literally teaches me something new every day. And then eventually, when my arrogance goes back behind my head, I appreciate what she taught me.
Beautiful sentiment. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I'm in a similar situation, right? Where it's like, you know.
Can I borrow one of your tissues?
Yeah, hang on. I got two.
It's true, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. So everything from I am not opening a restaurant to holy crap, we have this amazing restaurant with amazing people that come and spend their money to, dude, turn that up. That's Slipknot. Hurry up. Turn that up. You know what I'm saying? I was always an Alice in Chains fan. You can't take that away.
I will not take that away from you, for sure.
You're on this podcast and you don't like Alice in Chains. I just cut the mics.
We just cut the mic. It's over.
No.
But I do understand because even when I was in high school, I hated with a passion any, what's the term I'm looking for here? At the time I used the term screamo. Because I didn't know anything.
I don't get it.
I was never a fan of it. You know, Lamb of God, bands like that. I was never a fan of it. And then when I got older, but I was into Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, Stained, like all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That early, mid-2000s, can't beat it.
You know what's so funny? And actually just talking about that, thinking back on my first introduction to like music. So I remember when I got my first stereo for Christmas. And
stereo.
Yeah, my first stereo. It was a CD player, 5-disc CD player with 2 cassette tapes.
That's better than the Walkman I had.
I kid you not.
Shouts to the Walkman.
Yeah. And it was funny because later it was obvious that it was the, what do you call it? Like the demo stereo. So it was the one on display at the store. Because when I received the stereo, there was a Madonna CD in it. And that was like my first introduction to music, at the Madonna CD that was in the stereo that I got for Christmas. But then my brother got me Alice in Chains.
Yes.
So that's a perfect example of my genre of music, from Madonna to Alice in Chains, my 2 first CDs I ever got.
What was the record? Do you remember the record? I'm just curious.
It was Dirt.
Was Dirt?
Say Dirt.
Yeah, it was Dirt.
Dirt at that time.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the one, man.
For sure.
That's the great thing about music. And it's funny because how music and food goes together, how you can have such different tastes.
Sure.
You know, I mean, my biggest influences for playing music for a living, as long as I did, were Stevie Ray Vaughan, Garth Brooks, and, you know, honestly, it was a toss-up between Alice in Chains and Motley Crue. You know what I mean? It was all about the showmanship. It wasn't just about, some was about the music, some was the showmanship, some was this, some was that.
It's finding that balance.
And it's funny you said about, you know, screamo and stuff. And I hated the screaming thing. I've never liked that. And we were in Arizona 2 years ago, and we found this I found this concert. It was like $30 a ticket. I'm like, dude, we're so going. I don't know who these first 2 bands are, but these other closing bands, I know them, and this would be really cool. So we get there, and the first band is Killswitch Engage.
Yes.
I'd never heard of them. I've heard the name, but I never listened to them. It wasn't really what I listened to. And I'm like, okay, it's all right. But then this next band comes on that literally blew my receding hairline back 3 more inches. It was the most
I didn't even know who this band was.
Unbelievable thing I've ever seen. And to this day, I still, when I want to get jacked up, I still put Parkway Drive on.
Parkway Drive.
Yes.
They
Never
were
seen them before.
live.
And these guys came out and blew. So let me tell you, they were the best band on the stage that day. You know who the 2 headliners were that followed them? P.O. Day and Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
How would you even like
$30
what a
ticket
concert? Because like I talk about this a lot on the show too. Where like I'm a big defender of like the new metal genre. Like I actually like enjoy Limp Bizkit. So it's like, so for me, it's like, I hear that and I'm like, whoa, like why would you, if I'm Fred Durst, why would I want to follow those bands? Why would
you want to follow Parkway Drive, man?
Oh my gosh.
But you know what? Fred Durst still struts like he's 20 years old and killing the world. You can't take that away from an entertainer, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are.
I think he still kind of classifies himself in that category, because when you see him tour, those are the bands that he tours with.
He's still touring with that.
He doesn't tour with like
it's rap rock. It's rap rock.
He wants to be challenged.
Yeah, but he's touring with Rob Zombie and Korn and Stained, and like he's touring with the big
It's
boys.
a 90s stuff though, but you look at the two 90s things. We went to the Love the 90s concert, man. We watched Young MC, Salt and Pepper, and Vanilla Ice.
So cool.
And you know what? All of those guys still got on stage and still thought they were the 90s.
Still got it,
They still thought they
Not
were.
like Fred Durst,
Young MC
yes.
was like a weeble bouncing across the stage. Okay, you could knock him and he'd bounce right back up. He was horrible. Vanilla Ice was still up there doing his Go Turtle, Go Turtle, and he thought he was it.
He was still killing it up there.
But then you go out and you see Limp Bizkit, and it's like, no, that still got it. POD. That POD was amazing.
It was one of the best.
We went and saw Rob Zombie and Korn together. We've seen Disturbed. We've seen all these amazing concerts. Dude, the concerts we've
Disturbed's
seen.
one of them is like, for me,
I've seen them twice. Definitely see them.
Yeah, we saw them right after Sound of Silence came out, and when David pulled that out, it was it was the most heavy, glowing, mesmerizing arena I think I've ever felt. And I've been to some pretty cool shows, man. But
I think I've seen Disturbed 3 times. The first time I saw Disturbed was in Arizona with STP and Godsmack.
Wow, what a show.
Yeah. I wish I remembered it.
This girl, brother, this girl, right?
You guys couldn't see the look.
I remember like some guys walking down the aisle with like big drum-like things, and I think that was STP, and I kid you not, that's about all I remember of that concert. I was young.
She's seen some things from living in the States, man. Mudvayne, being right against the front. Static X.
I've seen Static X,
Mudvayne, throwing up in a gorilla suit.
Yeah.
Chad taking off his gorilla helmet and puking. The stories she's told me of what she's been able to see for shows, because down there, when she lived in Arizona and California, there's shows like this multiple times a week
all the time,
for $20 a show. A show that costs us $150 a ticket is like $20-$30 down.
And we got to drive an hour to go see.
And we have to drive an hour and a half, and then drive an hour and a half back, take the train to and this is like 2 blocks away in Phoenix or whatever. You know what I mean? They're all down there.
I remember have you ever heard of Clutch?
Yes.
I saw Clutch in a dive bar
in
New York, Albany, New York. And there were literally like 10 people in the bar. It was like $5 cover charge to get in. I was standing right on this Clutch. Yeah.
That's one of those bands that I'm still working on. So there's a couple.
We're hitting the 5-year mark on that one.
But we are. So there's a couple Clutch songs that me and the boys that I jam with are that I'm like, okay, Slow Death in Texas. I'm like, I dig this. I like this. And then he does Fortunate Son to cover CCR. Yes. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. But then there's some of those 755, 74, 755, and I hate it. My transmission, my automatic car, here's the mirror, turn the LED lights on. I hate it. I think it's horrible. Horrible. So that is the hardest one I've had to wrap around. But then I see, it's not that I don't like some of their music, but then I see where he's going with some of it, and I'm like, I got you. Okay. I got you a little bit there. But that is the one I have not been able to wrap my head around yet. And out of all of them.
And there's some bands that that's what's so great about music, right? Like there's some bands that you can, like one band for me very recently, I'm kind of like, okay, I get it a little bit more, but that was a band called Ghost.
Yeah.
Familiar with Ghost?
Never heard of Ghost.
You would know Ghost.
Yeah.
They're the band that they have like the guy dresses up like the Pope. Mm-hmm. It's like Papa Emeritus or whatever. Really? He has like all these nameless ghouls around him that play the instruments and stuff. And they like blew up. They had a song Square Hammer that was all over the radio.
Are they the ones that do that song about the heroin? Isn't that Ghost that does that song you love so much?
No, you're thinking of a different band.
Okay, I thought they did that song too.
Their stuff's very like, it's like I think they're one of their more recent ones that I can remember that was all over the radio was a song called Rats. It was literally about rats of the plague. And it's very like demonic, satanic, lyrical stuff. But the music is like the guy, he says, he's like, I basically the way he describes it is Ghost is a band from like the late 60s that just so happened to have started in 2010.
Really?
Yeah. So they're very like, he calls it like pre-metal. So it's like Black Sabbath, but like not. It's hard to explain that.
Kind of like Led Zeppelin 2 there. What do they call it? Greta Van Fleet?
Oh, Led Zeppelin 2.0. Yeah, we don't talk about Greta Van Fleet on this podcast. I have nothing nice to say.
No, I'm 100% with you.
Oh, dude,
I'm 100%
it's bad.
You know, but that's the cool thing with about music that we're talking about. You know, and Nicole and I've experienced some really cool things like that. I've seen some of these incredible bands, but then at the same rate, I've knelt down in front of and put a guitar pick on Richie Valens' grave.
That's cool.
And paid my respects to Richie Valens.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That to me is like, man, that was, we drove how many hours? First time I went to California with you. And we went to all the grave sites. Yeah. We went to Marilyn Monroe's grave. We went to Paul Walker right after he died.
Respects to Paul Walker.
Laurel and Hart,
or
Stan Laurel, Liberace.
Yep.
Just these immense amount. And I'm like, I want to go see Richie Valens because Richie is just 50s and 60s were huge music to me. Yeah. That's what I grew up on. That's what my parents listened to, you know, and that's what I grew up on. But the movie La Bamba was one of my all-time favorites, right? Come on. And so we drove to San Bernardino and we pulled into this little cemetery. It's like, how are we going to find this? And you're Googling. Thank God for Google on this stuff, right?
What are we doing this time?
Where are we going? Yeah, this time. Yeah, stop listening to me, Google. And we're looking at all this stuff, and it's kind of pinpoints. Sorry. It kind of pinpoints. And sure enough, and we ended up finding it. And I brought a guitar pick with me just for that purpose. And he's buried there with his mom. And this was before Bob died. And I got to actually sit in front of Richie Valens' grave and put a guitar pick. I've only left a guitar pick at 2 spots. One is on Richie Valens' grave, and one is at a tree where my friend Josh Dufresne was killed when he lost control of his motorcycle and hit a tree and it killed him. And I left a guitar pick on the tree, and the one is 1 year anniversary. And it was like, for me as a musician, that is like this ultimate respect of thank
Huge
you.
Pay of respect.
Of thank you. You know, but it's so weird with us to go to Arizona and be rocking out to Parkway Drive and Limp Bizkit, you know, and then 4 hours away, go see Richie Valens.
Totally.
It's so bizarre how all of it comes together. And I guess that's a creative side when it comes to food, when it comes to music, you know, creative people and artsy people. And you're an amazing artist, a great tattoo artist now, by the way. We can book you if you really need to come down and get a new tattoo from Nicole.
You can bleep that out.
And, she hates it when
burgers and tattoos.
Right? Oh, there's something similar to that coming soon. But yeah, so, you know, in I guess that's where her amazing artistic side comes out, with these crazy creative ideas that, you know, at first make me go, you're making my brain hurt. And then we make money from it. It's like, wow, you're incredible. I don't know where you come up with this stuff, you know? So who's going to put deep fried pickles on a burger? And then hotter it.
The word right out of my mouth. Oh my gosh,
that's fantastic. We're making that. I'm totally making that a headline.
That's what it's going to become now. If you want a double patty, you have to hotter it.
Yeah.
We have to do it. It has to.
Totally.
It's
I like
epic.
It. Totally.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Well, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to talk with you. You know, getting to
Thanks for having us.
Break down everything, and thank you guys for having me. Like I said, this is really cool for me, being, you know, episode 300, being the fact that this is the first in-person interview I've done in so long, and that I was finally able to get to do it with you guys.
It's awesome.
Nice. It was cool. So cool. It was super cool.
The honor's ours.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Totally.
And yeah. Now fun. You know where we live. You and Sam will have to come for a barbecue.
Oh,
yeah.
We're not having burgers though.
No burgers. No burgers.
It's funny because she the one day I'm like, all right, what do you want for dinner? We go home. She's like, I kind of want burgers. So like, literally, I'm like, all right, do you want me to bring some? She's like, no. We come home, bring the beef home, and she changes the recipe.
Yeah.
And makes a different kind of burger here. And I'm like, ooh, that's good. You know, so.
I got to ask real quick. I forgot to ask earlier. Where exactly does that recipe come from? Like, is that like just from over the years of you trying different things, or is there like a specific place it comes from? Or
you know, it's funny.
Depends who you ask.
It's so funny. That's such a funny question because, no disrespect, obviously, babe, but obviously had another man in my life at one point.
When? What? Who? You mean those two girls aren't mine?
When I was very young, and we've obviously not been together for quite some time. I've been with Roy for 14 years, but he tells my kids, because he's also the father of my kids, and he's like, I gave your mom that recipe.
Oh,
and I'm like, you're not the only person that cooks burgers, in the world, bud. Sorry. But so it's funny that you asked that. It's just been trial and error, experimenting, and we've always enjoyed having people over and entertaining and cooking and barbecuing, and just making burgers one time and tweaking it the next, and finding
it's like any recipe. Yeah, you play with stuff, right?
And then our secret burger sauce is 100% In-N-Out Burger inspired. I did a ton of research on recipes for the In-N-Out Burger sauce, a secret sauce. And I feel that this one, obviously growing up in California, I love In-N-Out Burgers, and I've eaten a million of them in my lifetime. And this is the closest one,
every time
in my opinion, too. The In-N-Out Burger
every time we
sauce,
go down to the States, every time we go to California, Arizona, wherever there is an In-N-Out Burger, I make her take me every day. And then on the last day, we have to go twice.
And there's no logical explanation.
Why it's horrible.
It's
1.5 ounce patty.
What, literally.
It's terrible. And it literally is the most beautiful thing.
Yeah, it really
it's not a Peterburger, and they have animal style, which is our version of hotter style, but it's still really good. Yeah.
And actually, the smash burger recipe I just came up with.
It's a beauty.
Yeah. It's just doing a lot of research and seeing the ingredients and what looks good to me or doesn't look good to me. And I pick and choose.
Sure.
Really
the funny thing is, I have to actually say this because some people don't believe me when I say this. So the majority of our burgers, when Nicole whether it's me that comes up with the original recipe of some of them, the Excalibur, the Knight, the this, whatever, the Lock 21, and then the more inventive ideas that she comes up with, the Peter Pickles and the Jerk and everything else, these incredible flavors. I don't know how both of us, honestly, how we come up with some of these ideas. Because I can tell you, like right now, the Aloha, we've been open a year and a half. I had my first one 2 days ago. I've never tried it.
I was curious about that.
I've never had an Excalibur. I've never eaten it. I'm addicted to the Knight. I'm addicted to the Jerk. I'm addicted to, making whatever I'm just going to make at that point. Now. The smash burger.
Smash burger looks good.
She doesn't eat burgers. She makes the burgers and doesn't eat them.
Really?
But she comes up with it and they work.
And I feed them to him.
She makes me eat them.
I'm like, taste
But I'll tell you, that smash burger, man, that's a dirty burger. It's good. It's good.
I haven't tried it yet. My problem is every time I come by, I'm like, me and Sim's, we're gonna get this, we're gonna get this.
Well worth it. Yeah. Well worth it. It literally melts in your mouth. And we can't tell you. I wish it was okay to say everything that's made in the ingredients we use, because if I could tell you what we use, and I'll tell you when we shut this off, but you're gonna understand why it's so damn good. You know what I mean? It's just like you want to put it out to the world. This is what we're doing. But then, of course, you're going to get places, stealing your stuff, and other burger places saying you worked for them when you never really did and stole their recipe.
Branding their buns.
That's the greatest thing.
Pickles.
Burger place in town said I worked for them and stole their recipe. Nope, never worked there a day in my life. Yeah. Don't even know.
It's fun how that works, eh?
It's incredible. It's the greatest compliment. I'm so glad that you love our food so much.
That much that you want to take credit for it. Yeah. It's a beautiful compliment. Yeah. That's how you got to see it, right? Because it'll drive you crazy the other way.
It does. Anyways,
very cool.
Could ramble on for hours.
Yeah, I just want to bring this up because I think this is really cool and it pertains to food, and we've posted it before. But I like this from Anthony Bourdain, and
Anthony,
and he says that you learn a lot about someone when you share a meal together. And I think that that's so cool, 100%. with food and restaurant and the industry. Yeah. So
he was a wise man. That was a loss. That was a huge loss. That one hurt. So, yeah. It's true. So sit down, order some food, and talk to people. Put your phones away. Talk to people. Stop your social media, except for the Hotter Show podcast, of course. And
checks in the mail.
Right?
And Peterburgers
talk.
_25 on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
You're going crazy with the TikTok stuff. I'm enjoying it. I like it.
You have to check the TikTok.
I don't really go on TikTok much, but when I do,
we're new.
New, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And of course, guys, I'll have the links down below in the description of this podcast, however you're listening, with the links to Peterburgers. Go check them out. It's been fun, and I can't say enough great things about you guys. So I appreciate you doing this and being a part of this. And one last thing I want to ask. I was going to ask you, Nicole, but I know since Roy said you don't eat the burgers, so I can't really ask you this. But Roy, I got to put you on the spot.
Okay.
You've said a few times different burgers that you enjoy, but if you had to pick one, it's the only burger you can eat from the menu. What's it going to be?
Jeez, man. A Peterburger.
That is a brilliant answer. That is fantastic. What a guy.
That's tough, brother. You know what, man? I'm a huge fan of the jerk, but I don't know how to describe it with these burgers. I would probably have to go with the night. Honestly, I'd have to go with the night because I love the PB&J, but I can only have it once in a while.
Sure.
I love the jerk, but I can only have it once in a while. I can't finish the Lock 21. I've only eaten it once, and I slept for 7 hours. So, but the night, I can eat the night all day long, man. Those caramelized onions, don't just fry your onions out there, guys. Actually caramelize them properly. It makes all the difference. Get the sugars going. The night, I can eat that all day long. So I'm going to go with the night.
Awesome. Very good. Well,
hot or so?
Yeah, buddy. Hotter it up.
Hotter it up.
You guys know my favorite Peter Pickle. Check it out. Roy and Nicole, thank you guys so very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Listening to The Hotter Show right now. Are you in a band? Maybe you're a business owner of some kind, a performer, maybe a pro wrestler, an event promoter, an athlete, or maybe you're just an everyday person who needs some photo editing done. You need a great graphic design guy, and have I ever got the hookup for you? My man and close personal friend, Mr. Jason Reese from Jaybird Digital Arts. Whether you need logos, t-shirts, stickers, tickets, business cards, banners, menu, brochures, flyers, posters, Facebook banner videos, door hangers, photo editing and restoration, print ads, lyric video editing, signs, notepads, window clings, letterhead, bookmarks, programs, magnets, greeting cards, calendars, rack cards, invitations, envelopes, pens. Jason will work with you to develop a style that is unique to you and that tells everybody just how special your business, event, or you personally are, and you will stand out from the crowd. On top of the fact that he does offer free delivery between Coburg, Ontario and Kingston, Ontario, message him today right now for a free quote. That's right, a free quote. Tell him about your idea. You got something outside the box, he will make it happen. With great rates and service, you cannot go wrong. I've used Jason literally for everything. Cannot say enough good things about the man himself and his work. So contact him today on the web at jaybirddigitalarts.com or on social media under Jaybird Digital Arts. That's JAYBIRD digitalarts.com. You can also email him at jaybird.digital.arts@gmail.com. And always keep in mind that his business is successful when your business looks good. All right, guys, there you have it. Episode 300 of The Hotter Show. My in-person conversation with Roy and Nicole from Peterburgers. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. I loved their story. I think that both of them were so great on the mic and such great storytellers. They really, really were. I had so much fun on that episode, and doing it in person again. I mean, what can I say? I missed it. I missed it so very much. And I'm looking forward to doing more in-person conversations, hopefully the next couple of months. I'm going to get back to that once I am moved and everything. But again, huge shouts to Roy and Nicole from Peterburgers. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It was an absolute honor getting to speak with you guys and giving you a platform to tell your story to your customer base and fan base, because it is a big one. So thank you guys so very much again. And again, thank you to everybody who has supported this podcast. Honestly, I was talking about it on the live cast last week. It means the world to me. This is now turned into something I do really. It's always been something I do just for me, right? But especially lately, it's like, you know what? I truly love doing this. It's an outlet for me. It's something I didn't realize how much of a outlet it was for me emotionally, where it's something that I need to do at least once a week-ish, or else I start to kind of lose a little bit. So I'm grateful for all the support and the ability to do this. So thank you guys so very much. Big shouts again to my friend, Mr. Jason Reeves from J. Bridges Lards, and my brother for everything that you do for this podcast. Of course, Mr. Brandon Bowden for all you do for the podcast and for helping me out with this episode with some audio issues that I was having. Thank you very much, my brother. Big shout outs, of course, to my wonderful and beautiful fiance, Miss Samantha Light, for all of your support and putting up with all my bullshit. I appreciate you, babe. Thank you very much. I love you. And shout out to everybody who has supported this podcast, man. Just thank you. I cannot say enough wonderful things. I'm hyped. I got a bunch of cool episodes coming up. The future is looking very bright for the Harder Show, and I have no intentions of stopping or slowing down. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned to the Harder Show. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Give me a follow on the Facebook and the Instagram. Your support is very important to me, and it truly means the world. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to sign off here today. I will see you guys next week for a brand new episode of the podcast, The Harder Show. Thank you guys for all the support over the last 300 episodes. Take it easy, guys.